Divided we stand, but for how much longer? I'm Steve Green with Bill Whittle and Scott Ott. This is Right Angle, brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. And I need to show you a clip that goes back almost exactly 16 years ago that you probably know by heart, but I want you to watch it again right now.
I can hear you. I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
I watched this thing on every 9/11 anniversary, probably going back 12, 13 years now. It's still moving. But what struck me after reading a David Harsanyi column yesterday is it doesn't just seem like it's 16 years ago. This seems like it comes from another country. David Harsanyi was asking, what if we don't have, Americans no longer share the kind of civic virtue, the shared values that can bring the country together like we were, or at least as we appeared to be in those first few days and weeks after the attacks of September 11, 2001. Scott, let me read you a quote from David's piece. This moved me. He said, "Where a beautiful or tragic moment might once have given us a respite from partisanship, we are no longer afforded such breaks. When a hurricane destroys thousands of lives, Americans come together to help each other. People are still inherently decent. Too many, however, decide to act as if Republicans are the cause of hurricanes." How do you hold a country together on that basis, my friend?
I think part of the challenge is that there are innumerable outlets for the chattering class now. I mean, years ago, there was basically CNN, and that was mostly news, so-called. It wasn't, blowhard talk shows all day long. But, Rush Limbaugh started a whole industry on radio that became, and now everybody who can get in front of a microphone can not only do that on radio, but you can do that with a podcast on SoundCloud or on iTunes or on Google Play Music. You can do that at BillWhittle.com. You can do it on YouTube or Periscope or whatever. And so this content alligator, which they used to tell me about when I was in school, when there were basically 3 networks and a couple of newspapers, has gotten more hungry. And so it's got to have a constant stream of content. And to get eyeballs and to get earballs, or whatever they call the part of your ear that hears, you have to be more and more sensationalistic. You've got to be more and more antagonistic. Everything needs to be sold as a fight. And if you don't have a fight, people aren't as interested in watching. And so I think some of this is just the nature of the beast. I continue to maintain, as I've said many times on this show for years, that the American people are not as bad as we look on TV. The American people in general are not like this all the time. And I know that because I have a real job. And I stand side by side with people who are Democrats, some avowedly progressive. I'm a Christian, and I'm standing next to my buddy, the atheist, and we somehow manage to get along. And we rarely have vituperative, vicious, whatever the other V word is, fights with each other. We're not doing that. We're helping each other. We're getting through the day. We're sharing a joke. And so it is not, TV is not real life. And I think if we can get past that part, we'll be okay. But you're right. That clip shows an America that we can hardly comprehend anymore, with a Republican president having his arm around what was almost certainly a Democratic union member firefighter. Yeah. Maybe not. I don't know. But, and nobody was thinking politics. All they were thinking was, we are Americans. And I'll put a button on this by saying I posted the video of President Bush walking out onto the field to throw in the first pitch of that first baseball game after the attacks.
No, it's the first game of the World Series after the attacks.
Yeah.
So it's a huge deal, yeah.
And I mean, just thinking about it now gets me choked up. Well, a couple of people on my Facebook, one of my 4,000 Facebook friends or whatever, got on there and started posting comments about what they thought about President Bush's politics, and he betrayed us and blah, blah, blah. And I don't do this very often, but I just deleted them. And I like disconnected myself from them. I'm like, you people have to be able to freeze and get out of this blood sport for ugly people for a couple of minutes so that you can realize the blessings of liberty, so you can understand that that having civic debate is part of what we enjoy in this country through our liberty, but it's the pursuit of happiness that is at the heart of it all, and you're not enjoying any of that.
That was beautifully said. I guess my question comes down to this, really. If Americans really do get along so well, and I believe we do. I do see it every day, just like you do, Scott. But can we survive when our chattering classes, when our political class, when our entertainment class is forever belittling us and those values that we do share in common? Bill, let me hit you with this next quote from David Arzani. He said, "Here's a depressing thought on the anniversary of 9/11. What if those 2 or 3 weeks of harmony 16 years ago will be the last we experience for a very long time?" What if that was it, Bill?
I don't know when he wrote the article, but
just this week.
Well, then he should have said, I think, what if the images of people helping each other in Houston, of white men carrying black women and black men carrying white children out of the floodwaters, is the very last expression of unity that we see for a very long time?
Great point.
Why didn't we write that story? Scott's right, and it's a blood sport for ugly people, and we're in it.
Yeah, we are.
And we have to be in it, but we don't have to live it, and that's why I completely agree with Scott when you hear things like this, especially coming from our friends. When I expect to get attacked by the left, but when I get shot from behind, it's the worst. It really is just the worst. And most of this has to do with the fact that because of the idea of progressivism, government has invaded more and more parts of our lives every day. It used to be about things that the government does. Now it's about telling you how to live your life, and that means that you have a strong emotional reaction. It's true, the entire country is divided into two camps, and they're at war with each other, and it looks like it's going to be perpetual war. There are people that support the Florida Gators, and they're fine, upstanding, good people, and then there's the people that support the other team. And those are lowlifes and miscreants, communists, and they're doing their very best to destroy the fabric of society as we understand it. And those are the kind of things that interest me. So I've often thought that life is like a Rubik's Cube. There's something about the quality of the internet that increases venom and drama, and that's in fact the topic of my right angle show this week. So there's something that amps that up. But it's a Rubik's Cube to the degree that, okay, I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative, there's a Democrat, we hate each other, this progressive's trying to kill us, destroy the country. We sit next to each other in the same stands on the Gator game, thinking the same thing of Republicans and Democrats over there at that other school. And again and again and again, how many times does this cube have to change to find yourself sitting next to people that you absolutely are opposed on one subject, but now you're blood brothers on something else? Houston showed us that these things are intense, pervasive, but superficial. And I suspect that one of the reasons there's so much vitriol is because there's not enough natural disasters and crises, is because we're so safe, so content, so rich, so prosperous, so comfortable, so what do you call this?
So American.
This never been lived by human beings. Human beings have never lived like this. 75 years of peace. I know that's not going to sound right for people who had to go to Vietnam or Korea, but in terms of the idea that our civilization could be destroyed by warfare, we haven't had a big fight since 1945. And I don't know. I think it's got to do with something built into human nature, and that's kind of what I'm trying to investigate on my right angle today.
Well, I can't wait to get to yours, because I got to tell you, I came into this segment kind of grumpy and depressed and cynical about it. But this is why I love you guys. You cheered me up. So I have to abandon what I thought I was going to say. And let me say this instead. Yeah, it is a blood sport here on the internet. It doesn't have to be so in real life. And if we are a part of the chattering class, maybe we should treat it as a little less than blood sport every once in a while. Maybe instead of going into every single argument trying to rouse the rabble and hurl the red meat out there, maybe we should try more to inspire to debate civilly, to change minds, to win hearts. So if you don't mind, yes, I'm going to still throw you some red meat. That's part of the fun. But I want to take this job a little more big-heartedly, I guess, maybe the word I'm looking for. And I hope all of you watching, and Bill and Scott for sure, will join me along in that and take it into our real lives, into the internet and Facebook and all the rest. So thank you for watching. This episode, of course, made possible by the members of BillWhittle.com. They're our producers. They keep us on the air. And let's be civil, okay? We're in this together. Thanks for watching.
When did you become such a gay communist?
I could have sworn he was going to do a Theodoric of Yorick ending on that one.
Nah.